Hi, class. I've got you grouped with one or two other students so that you can learn from each other. Maybe there's something that you did that they didn't do, or vice versa. So I'm going to look at you together, and then you're going to go ahead and make the revisions for your final, all right, which will be next week, your final iteration. So I'm going to look at these as a first-time site visitor. That'll give me a clue as to the usability and how it is functioning, and that's something that you're scored on, is the functioning and the pages requirements. So let's jump right in. Tempest, I like what you've got going here. I like your work. I do want to know more about this image. And it's all right to have this here, but typically it's one more step every time someone wants to go someplace else. I know it's a short scroll, but at some point you might have more work. So something to think about, just having a navigation. It's not a requirement, but it is something I want you to think about as far as functionality. You do need a contact link here, and I know you've got it at the bottom of your page, and that's where it will have to link. And you'll do that by linking an anchor in this section. On the top right, there'll be an anchor, and you link that here. If you need help with that, let me know. I have a little video, I think, on that. Let's remove the template background. I know these are very tempting, but they're very common. This particular one we see a lot, and you don't want that. Your work is good, and you don't want anything competing with that. So this is also part of that template. So remove that. And you have space here. I would bring this out a little further at your column, and that will bring it up some. Great photo. And I love, you've gone in and you've made sure that you have all of your descriptions here. That's great. And you are linked up, I see. So that's really great too. Okay, you have your contact form, social, so your contact information is good. A little hard to read. You might want to bring up the contrast on this. You probably can have a little, bring this down a little and have a little heading that says contact. The easiest thing to do if you really have trouble and you're in a hurry and you're not able to link this, the easiest thing is just add a contact page and copy this and put it there. That's the very quickest way to do it. And you just add in your pages area. This is landing in the right place. Okay, so this needs to be linked so where it lands right here. Okay, and that is going to be your anchor. You'll name it about that link. Okay, all right, so you've covered everything that you need. We just need to clean that up. So let's take a look now at your mobile. Again, the about will be fixed there. A lot of space, right? Yeah, so take a look at how this is playing out. That background is not necessary. You can close that space up. I would put those at the bottom. And this becomes really hard to read, right? I mean, even a simple color, a plain background will work. Something, one of these colors or something would be great. So when you link it in your desktop, it's going to go ahead and link it in your mobile, all right? So great start. You've got everything you need. A lot of it is just taking out the backgrounds. If you need help with that, let me know. You're going to go to your site design. That's going to be your icon on the left, and your inside your Wix editor, you have those, just a few icons. And the one that has the letter A and the color drop, you're going to go in there and you're going to remove the background. Sometimes you can just select color, and they say you can select white and remove it that way. But let me know if you have any trouble with that, all right? Text me or message me through the feedback section of this particular assignment so I can, have it pinned to your work and I can see that together. Okay, great job. All right, Janessa. Okay, I looked at this. I love it. I love the background color. It was taking a long time to load, so something here is a larger file than necessary. I don't know if it's the profile photo or the background itself, but that's something you can fix. You just optimize that size so that it's not quite so big and still looks right. I noticed also, I hate to go back now, but Tempest, I noticed your date is 2022. All right. So everyone can go ahead and make that 2024 if you like. We're so close, right? This should be a button because it feels like a button, right? Okay. A little less here. If you want to put it somewhere else, that's okay. But rather than have this white space, I think it's going to look nice to have it stop. It doesn't have to align directly with your photo, but, maybe a little bit. It's just the template that you've chosen. It's got a lot of scrolling beyond this particular screen. Not a big deal, but it would look nicer. Okay. Good. It doesn't bother me, but what you really want is to have the same amount of space on both sides of your rule here, your line. In this case, by not doing it, you've actually been able to get everything above the scroll, and that looks great as a page. And so it's hard to say. You might be able to get away with it, perhaps if this came up and you repeated the style. It's not a big deal overall, but that is typically what you're going to do. And it looks like you either are uploading something or you have the space to. I would take that out for now so it doesn't look empty. Navigation is clear. And you talked about Hollywood Reporter. I know you're a content creator, so maybe you've gone further into that, but you found out this week what kind of keywords to use, right? So that you can get people to your site. Okay, all good. Close that up a little. If you can, sometimes there's not enough content for it to allow you to really do that on a short page. Okay. So I'm looking for a link to your email. You want to add that. That's part of the checklist. But good job, you didn't put your phone number. That's great. I feel like your logo could be a little bigger. I mean, I like the way it aligns with this, but keep that in mind. If I could come up. Okay, let's look at your mobile. All right, let me refresh and make sure this is what I'm looking at. Okay, yeah. So you want to go in and check that layout and make sure you have navigation for sure. Okay. All right, so that's something you'll have to do on your end. Can't go beyond this here. All right, you've got a great format begun, and you just need to go in and make your adjustments for your final. Not too many, right? But a few minutes in here for sure. All right, great start. Alexis, I feel like this needs just a little bit of space between those two, and maybe, well, I'm not going to say larger, but a little bit of space, not much. Let's move your contact to the end, and that you just do that by going into your pages and dragging it below portfolio. I like the layout as far as your spacing. Okay, so we either want to make this the same as this, or, something. If you wanted to bring that up a hair, all of this up a little bit, you close up a little bit of that. This is working well. Yeah. You want to work on the spacing of the bars. And yeah, bring this down at least to, in the others, you have that much space. Here, maybe you do, but it doesn't look as much because we've got all that space. It looks like there's more. But these are just details. Important in the end, but okay. We're back here. And this, again, I think you need to wrap it down here so we're not scrolling just for the text, to read the text. And leave about as much space here as here as far as padding. If this is a Google number, that's great, but otherwise make sure you're not putting your personal phone number. You do want your email. Okay. Okay. The color scheme is great here. Your image and the background and this is all matching really well. The pink, it's bright and so forth, and I like that it's bright, but it's not, it's kind of competing with your color scheme that you've got going on. Okay. Just letting you know if you've got something else that might go there, something to think about. Okay. Let's look at your mobile. You're going to move that. This could be reduced a little bit. It's an empty space. This will need to be broken up into paragraphs, and probably you can take 10 lines out somewhere, because that's usually what happens when we get to the mobile. The content in your about is too long. But you always want to have it because it's a lot easier to cut than it is to add at the very end. Close up all this space. You might want this down here. And yeah, definitely not your address. Just a couple things. You want LinkedIn because people will definitely look for you there. All right. Okay. I recommend freezing your navigation here so we don't have to scroll up to go to another page. Okay. So here it's showing up. So it must be there. Make sure you order those in the way you have them on your desktop. Okay. That's because that's its natural location. Yeah, I would freeze your navigation, and you do that by going into your header, and then to settings, and then you'll have an option to freeze it. Okay, and that will keep it always present, right? So you have accessibility from every page. All right. Okay, everybody, great job. I really like where you're going. You can be proud of the work that you're doing, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this turns out in week 4. Great job.